What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Fire Grind. Today we're here with myself and my dog Taika because she just really wanted to be on camera. Say hello to the camera, Taika. Okay, she can't talk, but my name is Daniel, and on this channel we talk about personal finance with a focus on the stock market. But today I'm going to tell you a bit of a story of how I transferred my account over from TD Direct Investing into Questrade. So for those of you guys who've been following my channel, you know that I've been investing with TD. So for those of you guys who have been following my channel since I started this, I've actually explained in a couple of my videos that I invest with TD Direct Investing as my main account. However, this is only up until a couple of weeks ago when I decided to make the switch from my non-registered account from TD Direct Investing over to Questrade. And there were a couple of hiccups along the way, including my account value actually doubling, but we'll get into those details a little later on in the video. And for those of you guys who are looking to switch over your account from either TD, RBC, or CIBC, the process was not as tedious as I thought it would be. It required very minimal work on my end, and I'll actually walk you through all the steps in this video later on. And for those of you who haven't used either Questrade or TD, well, the reason why I switched from TD to Questrade is mainly because of the lower commission fees. On TD, they charge you $10 per trade, whereas on Questrade, they charge you $5 per trade. And ETF buying is free on Questrade. But because I bank with TD as well, there's some advantages there where I can move cash from my account into my direct investing account instantly. Versus Questrade, I'm going to have to wait 2 to 3 days. But ultimately I switched over because of the lower commission fees. And originally I was going to stick with TD Direct Investing because I thought eventually they would move over to $0 commission fees just like their American counterparts. But inevitably, as a YouTuber in the finance space, of course, I'm going to make a Questrade account just to make a couple of videos out of them, like this one. So I figured with the Questrade account opened, why not? Let's just transfer my TD account over the Questrade account because I already have both accounts opened up. And originally I wasn't going to make a video about this because the process was fairly simple. However, there are some interesting hiccups that happened along the way, so I figured I'd share that with you guys in this video here. And before we move on any further, if you guys are already looking to switch over to Questrade, you can sign up with the link down below in the description and you get $50 for just signing up, and these can be used towards your commission fees. So that's essentially 10 free trades right there. Now let me first walk you through all the steps when you're transferring any sort of account over from another institution into Questrade. So on July 22nd, I decided to transfer my account over from TD to Questrade. So the first thing I did was I logged into my account, and if you don't have an account, you can create your account. When I enter my account, I'm on the accounts page by default, and then I went up to the funding tab, and there a drop-down menu came up. And from here I selected transfer account to Questrade. Then this page will pop up, and I'll show you a couple things that you should know before transferring your account over to Questrade. So things like cash and securities in a registered account can only be transferred to the same type of registered account. Securities transferred to a Quest Wealth account will be liquidated and reinvested in your selected portfolio. Transfers can take 20 business days or more depending on your financial institution. Then there's also transfer fee rebate. So if you transfer any account of any amount, they'll rebate you a transfer fee of up to $150 per account. There's no minimum account balance or maximum number of accounts you can transfer, and you can apply for your rebate after your transfer is complete. So after this information section, you'll notice at the bottom of the page there's a form for you to fill out. And a couple things to highlight here. So you can see there's a long list of institutions that you can select from to transfer from, and these aren't just Canadian institutions, they're also American institutions. So I just scroll through all the financial institutions which you can transfer an account from over to Questrade. So if your financial institution that you invest with is not on this list, then you're not able to transfer over to Questrade. Then further on in the form, you'll notice that there's a section called transfer type, and you can transfer your securities in kind, in cash, or do a partial. So what it means by in kind is basically if you own like 10 shares of TD and 20 shares of Amazon, you can transfer them over in kind such that you get shares in your account. So you basically transfer your 20 shares of Amazon from your financial institution over to Questrade, and same with your TD shares. However, if you're doing in cash, what's going to happen is they're going to liquidate your positions in your other financial institution, and you might incur some sort of fees like for example, in TD, I would have incurred $10 per position that I liquidated, and that would be transferred over into Questrade as cash. And then the last option is you can do a partial transfer. So you can specify how much cash you want to transfer over, and you can specify the positions that you want to keep and transfer over in kind. Note that you'll need to go over each individual position that you have in your financial institution and make sure all the information is correct. After this, you just want to click the submit button and this next screen will pop up. And this is a Docusign. So basically you're just going to sign this document here verifying that all the information is correct and that you allow Questrade to initiate this transfer. Once this is all finished, those are all the steps that you need to take in transferring your account. And you just sit there and wait until your account transfers from your financial institution over to Questrade. However, if there are any problems that happen along the way, Questrade support will actually send you an email and you can talk to that customer rep and get things sorted out. So there are a few issues that happened when I was transferring my account from TD to Questrade. The first one being I got an email 2 days later saying that my account couldn't be transferred because they needed to transfer both the Canadian and the US dollar account. So initially I only wanted to transfer over my Canadian portion of my non-registered account. However, they required me to transfer both the US and Canadian account. So I willingly agreed to do this and the transfer continued through. Then on August 12th, I got a confirmation from Questrade saying that the transfer request has been submitted to my bank. So TD was starting the transfer there. So it did take a couple of weeks for the transfer to be sent over from Questrade all the way over to TD. However, if there wasn't that email conversation back and forth, deciding whether I wanted to transfer both accounts or not transfer any of the accounts, then this would have been probably a little bit faster by a couple of days. So once TD got my transfer request, what happened next was my Canadian positions actually moved over to Questrade first before my US positions started trickling over. But here's when things started to go wrong, but in my favor. Then on the morning of August 14th, I checked my Questrade account to see what happened, to see if my US stocks have transferred over from the TD account all the way over to the Questrade account. And to my surprise, they did transfer over, but they also doubled. So I had 1 share of Amazon, for example, and it became 2 shares. And I thought this was a mistake and must be corrected probably fairly soon. And I thought it would be corrected within the day or even the next business day afterwards, which was the Monday. However, this was not the case, and I figured, you know what, let's just try selling these 2 Amazon stocks and, see what happens. And sure enough, I was able to sell the 2 Amazon stocks, got all the proceeds into my account, and I thought, maybe they'll let me keep, all these extra shares that they put in my account. But unluckily, the next day, Questrade support emailed me saying that there was a mistake in the transfer, that TD actually transferred extra shares into my account, and here's the email to show you guys what happened. And I'm blurring out my positions more so for account privacy, but you can get the gist here that they transferred over quite a few shares to my account, which I shouldn't have had. And they specifically said in this email that I would need to repurchase the 1 Amazon share that I sold, which was technically not mine, and this would be transferred back to TD. And if you guys know what happened between August 17th and August 18th for Amazon shares actually went up today by $130. So this means I would need to repurchase 1 share of Amazon at $130 higher than what I sold it for. And I figure this is a little bit unfair because this is a mistake on TD's part for transferring extra shares, and I just wanted to see what would happen. So I decided to contact Questrade support and see what they could do for me. After talking with Questrade support, they agreed that they would give me $150 as compensation if I made any sort of loss from the Amazon shares that I sold and had to repurchase. So the moral of this story is, if money happens to appear in any sort of financial account of yours that's not yours, don't touch it. Don't be like me who decided to sell these 2 shares to see what would happen and end up getting stung in the butt for this. But other than these couple things that happened during my transfer from TD over to Questrade, the whole process all in all was quite smooth, and it takes around 2 to 3 weeks. And as of recording this video today on August 18th, not all of my shares from TD have transferred over to Questrade just yet. I also have a couple options that have not transferred over. So I'm still waiting on these, and I'll give you guys an update if you're interested when these come through, or I'll just leave that in the pinned comment down below. One last thing that you guys should know if you're transferring an account from another institution to Questrade is that once that trade starts to initiate, so like when my first stock transferred over from my TD account to my Questrade account, I wasn't able to do any sort of activity on my TD account. So I actually tried to do some trading on my TD account because I wanted to buy and sell some shares. However, TD actually locked me out of this and said there was an error and that I had to contact customer support. So it looks like once your transfer is initiated with your original financial institution over to Questrade, you're unable to do any activity on your original platform, but you are able to perform trades on your Questrade account, which is receiving shares or cash in kind. If you guys got any value out of this video, please consider smashing that thumbs up button, as well as leave any comments down below or questions that you have about transferring an account from another financial institution over to Questrade. As well as subscribe and hit that notification bell if you guys are interested in more stock related videos. I talk about my investments on Wealthsimple Trade, as well as do multiple stock analysis on Canadian companies. Keep up the grind and have a great day.